In signed languages, it is common for some signs to be intuitive. And while there are still a lot of arbitrary signs that require study and memorization, some signs are easily intuited from universal gestural understanding. Pronouns are an example of intuitive signs, so let's take a look. Pronouns are produced using a pointer finger, or one hand shape. The index finger extends, while the remaining fingers curl into a fist. The sign for I and me is the same. Point to yourself. To produce the sign you, point to the person you are addressing. To produce he, she, or it, simply point to the person or object you are referring to. The sign they is produced by circling the index finger to indicate a group. The sign we combines I and they. In all cases, your eye gaze follows the subject. Further, the subject pronoun in a sentence is frequently repeated at the end of the sentence to reinforce the subject. For example, he's my brother, him. I go home, me. You need help, you. Non-manual markers refer to every aspect of sign language that isn't produced with the hands. This includes facial expressions, mouth shapes, eyebrow position, posture, and eye gaze. These non-manual markers provide essential information about the meaning of the message. Eyebrow position is an important part of question signs in ASL. There are two types, yes-no questions and WH questions. In both cases, you need to look like you're asking a question. Lean forward slightly. Use body language to show that this is a query. You are asking for information. Your eyebrows should rise up for yes-no questions. Lean forward and tilt your head. Eyebrows should come down for WH questions. Furrow your eyebrows. Lean forward. If you can't remember which way your eyebrows go, just focus on looking quizzical. We often perform these gestures unconsciously when we ask questions in English. To review from Part 1, each sign can be defined by 3 parameters: hand shape, palm orientation, and movement. The addition of appropriate non-manual markers is required to complete the meaning of the sign. For the sign understand, the hand begins as an S and becomes a 1. I call this S to 1. The hand has the palm facing back toward the wall. The hand is next to the head, next to the ear, and the S to 1 shape is repeated. Non-manual markers indicate whether this is an affirmative understand or a do not understand sign. See how important the non-manual marker is to the meaning? Either you do understand or you don't understand. Let's practice some more signs. You've just learned pronouns, which are directed pointing signs with eye gaze, and you know a little about questions. But let's learn some more signs for introducing yourself. The first sign is meet. Each hand is a one-hand shape. They come together with the palms to each other. See that motion of the one-hand shapes coming together for meet. The next sign is thank you. Thank you. It's a B hand shape, palm toward the face, and it moves away from the mouth. This sign is nice. 2 B hand shapes. One slides over the other one. But you want to be careful not to do it quickly and repeatedly. That means clean. This is the sign name. Name. Two H hand shapes. The dominant hand taps the side of the other H. Palms are oriented to the signer. This is the sign for who. The thumb is on the chin and the index finger is bent. It makes a little bit of a bounce. This is the sign for what. What? It's big 5 hands. They're facing up and they sort of shake as you lean forward. That's the old sign for what, an index finger across the palm. But this is the one we're using now. What? This is the sign for when. One index finger makes a small circle and touches the other. Palms are oriented toward each other. When? This is the sign where. Where? The index finger rocks back and forth. Palm is straight and forward. This is the sign why. Sometimes the hand bends, sometimes it pulls back, and sometimes just the middle finger shakes, but the palm is oriented toward the head for why. This is the sign for how. The old sign has both hands turning to open. This is the newer sign. One hand moves. The knuckles turn against the knuckles of the other hand for how. 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 The sign for good is like the sign thank you, and the sign for bad is the same but the hand turns away. And this is the sign for so-so, or just all right, kind of similar to English. Now you are ready to try your first ASL sentence. Using the signs we've just learned, follow along with me. You'll notice that I shift my posture from right to left. This is to indicate a dialogue, and it is a natural mechanism in ASL for communicating about conversations. It's called dialogue role shifting. But don't worry about it too much right now. I want you to focus on sign production. Hi, your name is what? My name is Andrea, A-N-D-R-E-A. Your name is what? My name is Sue, S-U-E. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Finally, I'm going to provide you with a little more vocabulary. Practice these signs too, as we will begin using them in part 3 of ASL Bootcamp. This is the sign for deaf. A one-hand shape, palm forward. It moves from the corner of the lips to the ear. Deaf. This is the sign for hearing. To be a hearing person in ASL is to be a speaking person. And this is the sign for hard of hearing. It's an H repeated, H-H, hard of hearing. In ASL, the face is gendered. The upper half of the face is reserved for masculine signs and the lower for feminine signs. For example, this is the sign for man, and this is the sign for woman. It's the same 5-hand shape, but if it starts at the forehead, it's male, and if it starts at the chin, it's female. Boy is signed on the forehead. Girl is signed on the jawline. The sign write is like a mime, writing on the palm of the hand. Draw or art is done with a pinky on the palm of the other hand. Want is signed with a claw 5 hand. Both palms are facing up. Don't want has the hands turning outward with an appropriate non-manual marker. Don't want. Help is a directional verb. Its movement indicates who is the subject and who is the object. You help me, or I help you, or I help many others. Wait is signed with 2 5 hands, palms up and the fingers wiggle. If you add a circular motion to the sign, it indicates duration, as in waiting for some period of time. Go is signed with 2 index fingers that move forward, palms out. It can be signed with 1 hand. Come is the opposite of go. The palms face in, the index fingers come toward the signer. Go, come. See or look is signed with V hand shapes. The hands mimic the motion and directionality of the eyes. Palm orientation indicates whether the signer is looking, if people are looking at each other, or if more than one person is looking at the signer. Use both hands or just one. The sign to read is produced by directing the look sign to the palm of the non-dominant hand. Stand is produced with an inverted V hand shape on the back or palm of the non-dominant hand. Sign sit by bending the V hand shape over an H hand shape of the non-dominant hand. Jump is signed by articulating the fingers of the dominant V hand shape to mimic the appearance of legs bending and jumping. The sign door is produced with 2 B hand shapes, vertical, palms out. The dominant hand pulls back, opening a space between the two, and indicating whether the door is being slammed shut or just left open a crack. Window is signed with 2 B hand shapes, horizontal, palms in. The rising of the upper hand indicates whether the window is open or closed. Window. Please is signed with a B hand shape, palm on the chest making a small circle. Put a S on it and it's sorry. Water is signed with a W on the chin just below the mouth. The sign yes is produced with an S hand shape and mimics the movement of the head. Make sure your face matches your sign. No is signed with a bending H hand shape, palm out. Your non-manual markers should reinforce the meaning of these signs. The sign like is signed with an 8 hand shape. It pulls out from the chest region, from the heart area. It starts as an open 5 but ends as an 8. Like. Non-manual markers are also very important for this sign. In English, the word like also means similar to, but the sign is very different. It's a Y hand shape, palm forward, that shakes a little, and it's directional to the object. But the sign the same is 2 index fingers that come together with the palms down. Here are some more useful resources for learning basic sign. Dr. Bill Vickers is a deaf instructor of ASL with a fantastic website full of valuable teaching videos and a comprehensive ASL dictionary at www.lifeprint.com. I've put 2 beginning video links from his YouTube channel here. Dr. Byron Bridges is another well-known deaf instructor who also has an excellent collection of videos for learning ASL on his YouTube channel. I've added a link to the first lesson here. This concludes ASL Bootcamp Part 2. Thank you for watching.